What's going on YouTube? Claic Yuzolt here with another unit spotlight, this time featuring Orlandeau, Thunder God Cid. That's right guys, Orlandeau or Orlandeau is finally here. He has graced us with his presence in Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, and we all must bow to Thunder God Cid. He's going to be one of the top physical damage units that we have in this game forever. He's going to stand atop those rankings for a long time to come, and we're going to get into why in this, this little unit spotlight here, okay? So, Orlandeau is a 5-star base, obviously going up to 6-star. They couldn't put him any lower than a 5-star base, so this guy would be just insane. One of the good things about Orlandeau is he does have a really high attack stat on his own, which is awesome. So that's what makes him really good too, is he already has a really high attack stat. Let's talk about that Trust Mastery. It is Thunder God Cid's plans. It's going to give you 3+ attack, and remember, like the Ring of Lucia we've already received in Global, it's going to be like that. It's going to be something you put on you, not the biggest stat boost, but it's going to give you 3 abilities that you get to add to your character. Only this one's not going to be as good as Ring of Lucia. The first one up is Crush Accessory. Essentially what this is going to do is going to do physical damage, single target, and then take down the resist, elemental resist by 30% to one enemy. So that sounds pretty good, and I think that is the best one out of the group in a way. Taking down the elemental resist by 30% to all is pretty strong. All resist is pretty strong, but still not, TM worthy in my opinion. Let's keep moving on to the Spirit Blade. Now this is going to do a physical damage attack, then a magic damage attack to all enemies. So it's not hybrid magic, or it's not hybrid damage to my understanding. What's going to happen is a physical attack to all enemies is going to happen, and then a magic attack to all enemies is going to happen, and that's how it's going to go down, okay? So that's Spirit Blade, excuse me. And then we have Ultimate Sword, and it sounds amazing, but it's not. It's just a flat multiplier single target physical damage ability that has some ignore defense on it. That's it. And it's not the highest multiplier in the world. I think it barely gets even close to 3. So if Ultimate Sword I was hoping would be awesome, it's really just kind of a tiny little kind of hit, and it's just not that great. So overall, that Trust Mastery, not worth really farming, and we're just going to move on from it, even though it sounds amazing. Thunder God Cid's plans. I mean, who doesn't want that? So we'll talk about his limit burst and that Swordplay Raiden. Physical damage, 2.7 times multiplier to all enemies. So this is the only AoE thing in Orlandeau's kit that he has. Everything else is single target. So this is his way in his kit of actually dealing with like maybe widespread mobs, things like that. And it has an okay multiplier attached to it. Speaking of his limit burst, let's go to his passive abilities and War Sense. Increased rate to fill up your limit burst by 200%. They give him this, I think, so to make sure that you do have some AoE on Orlandeau in your back pocket when you may need it. So that's why that's going to be good for us. Black Lion's Crest is his next passive that's up, and it is pretty damn good. 100% resist to blind, sleep, and paralyze. I mean, who doesn't want that? Orlandeau doesn't have time to be put to sleep. He doesn't have time to be blinded, and he ain't getting paralyzed. So that's going to be awesome for you if that ever comes up. And then let's talk about his 40% plus attack with Greatsword. That's a Greatsword mastery. And you know what's cool about this? And I think it was in their design. I think they did really good with this, is that we have a couple of Greatswords out there in the game that have the light element attached to it. And that's pretty awesome, and have high attack stat on it too. So you want to make sure that you have a Greatsword equipped to Orlandeau in order to get the most out of him, okay? And we want that to be light, and we'll talk about why in a minute. He also has auto refresh, 5% MP gain in between each turn. So, that's just something awesome you're going to have if you're in a long battle. We've been over this before. A lot of 5-star bases have it. It's just going to be able to make sure his MP is going up a little bit and make sure he's not running out as fast as somebody else would. Now let's talk about his attacks. He has attack abilities in Stasis Sword. Physical damage, 2.1 times multiplier, single target, and 30% chance to stop. So he has an ability that can stop people. And then he has Dusk Blade. Physical damage, 1.4 times single target multiplier. And then he's going to drain your MP by 30%. So this is a really great ability, I think, in his kit. I really love the fact that he already has MP refresh, or auto refresh, excuse me. And then on top of that, he can steal 30% MP from the enemy. I love it. It's amazing. That's going to be very useful in the future. When you have to worry about other people's MP and you can't really get to Orlandeau, maybe, you can at least use this move to get it back. Or maybe you just don't even have time to be using items. And then we have Lightning Stab, which this is one of his main moves. Lightning physical damage, 2.3 times single target multiplier, and this thing hits 6 times, so it's really good for chaining. 30% chance of silence. So he has a move that stops, he has a move that silence, and then in the future we're going to look at he has a move that can confuse. So he has ways to do status effects, status elements. But Lightning Stab, I would say, would be like almost his second best move. Hits 6 times, very good with chaining. And then he has Night Sword, physical damage, 2.1 times single target multiplier, 10% MP drain. So he has a 30% MP drain move, and then he has a 10% HP move. So not the best though, at 10% HP, not really that high up, and he has a lot of other moves you probably want to be using. Speaking of, we got Crush Weapon. He's going to take a physical damage, 1 point times, single target multiplier, and he's going to crush those weapons, those staffs, those rods are getting broken, those swords are getting bent out of shape. He's going to decrease the attack and magic by 40% to the single target opponent, so either a boss or maybe a mob you're fighting. On top of this, I do want to point out that there is a materia that he can have from the event. I think it's only event exclusive, and it can only go on Orlandeau, but essentially you can also bust down the defense and spirit of a target, single target too. So he has Crush Weapon, and then he has the other one that do the defense and spirit. So that's the way that he can, you know, also adds to his kit, where he can be breaking for you if you need him to, but that's probably not what you're going to be doing with him, but there's a chance you may need to. Another ability he has is North Swain Strike. Probably his most forgettable ability, really. Physical damage 1.6 times, single target multiplier with ignore defense 40%. And remember, I keep bringing this up, ignore defense is really just a flat multiplier to your damage there. Cleansing Strike is up next. Physical damage 3 times single target, so a pretty high multiplier. 30% chance to confuse. So I think overall, if you're not going to be using Divine Ruination, which we're going to talk about in a minute, I think you're always going to be using anyway, you're probably using Cleansing Strike, as it has really high single target, multiplier attached to it. And Divine Ruination is what makes Orlandeau, okay? What makes him, everybody hype up about him, what everybody loves. Divine Ruination. Physical damage 2 times multiplier, single target, ignore defense 50%, so it's going to add to that 2 times multiplier, hits 7 times, and before it does all of this, it's going to decrease the light resist 50% of the opponent for 3 turns, okay? So single target, take the light resist down, hit 7 times with an attack, and there you go. So that's 14 times if you have dual wield on him. And then you have another Orlandeau in there. That's 14. You can get a chain up to like 27, I do believe. And so you're lowering down the 50% light resist. He has great sword, 40% great sword mastery. So first off, great swords are really, really awesome in the game. So throw an Excalibur on him, maybe from Cecil or the Durandal from the event, and that's going to be light damage. So you're doing all this light damage, elemental chaining, 50% light resist down. It's insane, guys. And then you smack him with a big finisher like maybe Olive or Cloud in the future, Balthier perhaps, and it's going to be a lot of damage, guys. So Orlandeau, best chainer right now that we have, part of the Holy Trinity, and he's really, really strong. So let's get into some builds, guys. I know you guys want to know about that. We're going to talk about our free-to-play example build we have here today. You want to equip them with Durandal. Again, great sword, light damage. That's what we want. And that comes from the Final Fantasy Tactics event. It's an event exclusive, so if you miss that on this, it's kind of rough. Moving on, we have Force Shield, Fat Chocobo bot. Throw a shield on him because he can't equip shields, which is pretty awesome. That's what you want. And then we're going to put Dark Helm on him, give him some defense, give him some attack. That was from an event also. Then we have Demon Mail, which is going to give him a little bit of armor and a lot of attack. That is from the March of the Beast trial, so if you guys don't have it, go beat that trial. I have a guide for it on my YouTube here. You guys will be able to take it down and get that for your Orlandeau. And then I put hero rings here, guys, and I'm going to keep doing this in the future. But if you have better than hero rings, let's say the upgraded hero rings, a Monarch ring, things like that, you could throw that on him too. Or if you just have better accessories, put it on him. But essentially, Orlandeau is a physical damage attacking unit, and you want to put as much attack on as possible. Moving on to the Materia, that's right, attack 30% from the Gilgamesh trial. I'm going to consider that free to play because you can actually earn that in the game. So you want to throw a big attack 30% on him, and then attack 10% down the board. If perhaps you've obtained some attack 15% from other events that have already passed, you can put that on there too. But I just did a general, just throw a lot of attack on him. If there's any times when you may need more health, maybe put muscle belts on him or some HP percents here in his Materia. But other than that, again, let's just go glass cannon and do as much damage as possible. Let's move on to the pay-to-play, the pay-to-win example builds. We got Excalibur from the Cecil TM, great sword light damage. Remember that. We want great sword light damage. Then we have Genji Blade from the Gilgamesh trial. That's going to be our highest, attack katana that we have in the game, and we want that on because we're going to be pairing that with Blade Mastery down the line. We have the Black Cowl from the Hayate TM. We have Brave Suit from Ramza TM. Genji Glove from Gilgamesh TM. We got to get that dual wield on him somehow. And then we have Bracer from the Gafgarian TM. This Bracer can be replaced with any 30 attack accessory you have out there. Celestial Gloves, Snow's TM, things like that, and the Champion's Belt. You just want to put as much attack as you can on him again, guys. And then we're going to go to the we're going to go ahead and go to the Materia, and we have Blade Mastery, that's Katana Mastery, going to give us 50% attack up to our base attack when wielding a katana, coming from our girl Chizuru. So that's why we have the Genji Blade on. So we're going to have 50% from that and 40% from our Great Sword Mastery he already has on him. And then I'm going to put 3 Quick Assaults on him. That is a Shine TM. You guys can feel free to put any other attack 30% you want on him. We got one, from the Gilgamesh trial we saw in our free-to-play. We got one from Maxwell, if you guys have that, Maxwell's TM, or Queen's TM, which gives you HP, which I think might be a little bit better than Shine's TM, but she has a 5-star base, so I didn't really see you guys out there having a lot of those. Quick note here. there will be a trial coming out next in the future, and it might already be out when you're watching this video, the Dark Esper trials. Okay, from that you can obtain a Great Sword Mastery. You want to slap this bad boy on your Orlandeau here. It'll take the place of a Quick Assault or another attack 30%, because that's going to give you even more attack up. Okay, so just a quick note, not out already when I'm releasing this video, but will be very soon. Okay, so now let's talk about the Esper you want to throw on your Orlandeau, and that's going to be Odin. And the reason I say this is, first off, you're going to get a lot of attack out of Odin, right? He's a physical damage dealing Esper. And then you're also going to get the ability Blade Blitz if you guys were, you know, thought about picking that up on your Odin. That's going to give you an AoE ability on your Orlandeau that's not as limit burst, so you can use right off the bat if you would need to clear some mobs out or something like that. Okay, guys? So Odin's your choice here, in my opinion. That's what you want. So overall, Orlandeau is amazing. If you guys are asking why Orlandeau is so good, it's because of his chaining ability with Divine Ruination, the ability to take down the light resist and then chain up all that light elemental chaining damage. A lot of people in the game are already running Excalibur, so they're going to be able to chain that element with Orlandeau too. It's just going to be a big, hugging, light elemental chaining world out there, and it's pretty awesome. So if you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. Comment down below how you feel about Orlandeau and how you're building him and things like that, and then subscribe for future content. We'll catch you guys in the next one.